And according to first responders, Renee Good was shot at least 3 times. The Minneapolis fire report says life-saving measures went on for nearly an hour.
On January 7th, 2026, a federal ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renée Nicole Good during a large immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis.
And according to first responders, Renee Good was shot at least 3 times. The Minneapolis fire report says life-saving measures went on for nearly an hour.
Officials say she drove her SUV in a way they claim threatened officers. Critics and civil liberties groups dispute that account and say the force was excessive. The incident sparked persistent protests in Minneapolis and demonstrations across other U.S. cities, with activists calling for ICE accountability and an end to the heavy federal presence. A federal probe into Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was opened after strong public criticism of the federal operation. President Donald Trump has publicly threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, a rarely used federal law that would allow him to deploy U.S. troops domestically to quell unrest if protests are labeled insurrectionist and state officials don't act. The Pentagon has readied around 1,500 active duty soldiers for possible deployment to Minnesota, though it's not yet clear if they'll be sent. DHS officials and Trump allies defend the expanded enforcement actions as necessary to protect federal officers and enforce immigration law. Critics say the threat to use the military is an extreme escalation that could inflame tensions. This is CB News. Subscribe to our channel for daily world news update. Stay tuned. Federal agents have used less lethal munitions on protesters in multiple cities, with at least 2 demonstrators in California suffering serious eye injuries from shots to the face during anti-ICE protests. Another federal officer reportedly shot a man during an unrelated arrest in Minneapolis amid the unrest, which has fueled further concern about federal use of force tactics. The Department of Justice's investigation into Governor Walz and Mayor Frey has drawn strong pushback from state and local leaders, who call it politically motivated. Polling suggests a majority of Americans view the shooting of Good as unjustified, though views sharply divide along party lines. Lawmakers from both parties are debating whether invoking the Insurrection Act is appropriate, with some Republicans urging caution. Human Rights Watch and other groups describe Good's death as part of a broader pattern of questionable use of deadly force by federal immigration agents in recent enforcement operations. CB News, bringing you World News Update. Thank you for watching.